Good morning, Carroll County. This is Brian DeLeonardo, your state's attorney, with this week's State's Attorney's Report. As many of you will recall, last year, our office, in conjunction with the schools, did a drug education program for the schools that was done assembly style, about 45 minutes in every high school in the county to really deal with the drug challenges that we've had. And this year, we're coming back with another program that I'm really excited about. And so today, in order to discuss this program, I have a special guest this morning, and that is Devon Rothschild, who's with the Board of Education. So good morning, Devon.
Good morning, Brian.
I'm glad you could join me this morning. And how's your November going?
It's going very well. It's been very busy and exciting.
Well, I appreciate you coming in and spending the morning with us. And I want to talk a little bit about the program that we have.
Okay, yeah.
Now, obviously, we're just coming off of Domestic Violence and Awareness Month, and we've done a lot to do that. But this year, one of the things that we've seen in the schools, and this is really around the country, is relationship violence that will start at a young age in high school. So, I mean, sometimes there's a lot of emotions at play, and kids are learning those first relationships. And so one of the things that we're really excited about this year is coming into the schools with a program that will help educate. And I would like for you, from the board side, we certainly appreciate your cooperation in this and maybe why it's important for the school board.
Sure. Well, and I'm just speaking for myself as an individual, not for the school board, but domestic violence is a very important issue to me. It has hit my family personally. My baby sister was in a very, very awful, violent situation, and her husband actually ended up shooting her, and there was a police standoff. She is okay, thankfully, but because of that, and as a tribute to her, I've kind of become very involved in trying to raise awareness about domestic violence.
Well, and one of the things that we were able to do in this partnership, not just from our organizations, but one of the things that's really nice this year is that Devon, although on the Board of Education, came out and told a really personal story in the video that we're showing in the schools. Is that right?
I did. My sister, like I said, her husband shot her, and she has always said, if I can just help one woman or one girl, it will be worth it. My story will be worth it. So, I asked her, do you mind if I share this story, your story, and talk about how it affected our family? She burst into tears and begged me to do it. So it was a real honor to be able to tell her story and how brave she has been.
Well, and one of the things that we really are targeting with the program is trying to hopefully let people, the title of the program for the schools is Support Our Students, and essentially having other people look for red flags that you may find with relationship violence, because sometimes people don't really recognize it until it's too late. So with that in mind, can you share with us a little bit about the video and what were some of the points that you were making in your presentation?
Sure, and I think that's a great point you raise, is that now it's very clear to me how I could see all these red flags that were happening to my sister and her relationship, but I didn't recognize them when they were happening, because it was just, domestic violence isn't something that's commonly talked about. So for me, it was very important to point out the red flags and to say what I wish I knew back then, and what I possibly, if I had known those, to recognize those red flags, what I could have done differently as a friend or as a sister, and also to know that there are resources out there that are in place to help people, to help family members who are dealing with somebody who's in a situation, and for those victims in the situation as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, because we talk about red flags. I know, Devon, in the story regarding your sister Jamie and the discussion with that, you had talked about some of the red flags being that she really sort of pulled away from the family.
Yeah.
Which is something we see in domestic violence situations, because they don't really want you to know what's going on. But another one I thought was really important that you highlighted was that you knew there had been certain violent incidents, but the way she would try to convince you everything was okay. And maybe you can explain a little bit what you saw. Sure.
There were, and I've learned since this has happened, I've learned a lot more. But there was only one or two instances that I knew about prior to the shooting. And she would call and it would, he hit me. This is what happened. I have bruises everywhere. And, my mom and we would get very active and very involved in helping her to get out of the situation. And within 24 or 48 hours, the situation would be very different. It would be, well, I did something to provoke him. I was the one that started it. It was an accident. So it was very hard to know how to help her.
Yeah, and that's really our goal is to hopefully not only for the students to learn ways to help their friends, but hopefully also those teachers and administrators in the schools, that we really want to provide some tools that when someone's coming to them, just like you said, if now you're a little bit more tuned into the red flags, but hopefully we can do that and hopefully stop someone from getting to that point. So I really do appreciate your involvement with the program and the support of the schools as well.
Well, and I want to say thank you to the state's attorney's office. Your program last year was great, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of finishing these programs this year.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Brian DiLeonardo, your state's attorney. Have a great rest of the Sunday.